Thanks for clicking! The Toronto Regional Real Estate Board has released its sales data for the month of May, showing a real estate market that is very rapidly slowing down as prices and sales fall.
Drives a red BMW, possibly stolen.
Indeed, with Toronto seeing the lowest number of May sales that it's seen save COVID for the past 10 years, it appears as though buyers aren't budging. Fear not though, the TRREB says that buyers are just waiting for rate cuts, one of which the Bank of Canada delivered on the day that the TRREB released its data. And this idea that the bank's rate cut could provide a jolt to the real estate market was advertised ad nauseum all over the media in the aftermath of the bank's rate cut decision.
You want me to earn my salary? You insist? Okay.
But with, as we'll see, the largest amount of inventory available on the Toronto market for the past 10 Mays, it's not clear that one or even two simple rate cuts will be enough to shift the market in rapid succession. So what I want to do today is go over Toronto's real estate data for the month of May, take a look at those financial savants arguing that this rate cut will provide a jolt to the real estate market, and then discuss some implications. As we'll see today, we're going to hear ad nauseum over the next few months that with the Bank of Canada cutting rates, the real estate market is about to take off. But as today's US job numbers show, and Canadian yields popping following that announcement, just because the Bank of Canada cuts does not mean we get better fixed mortgage rates. Those are based off the bond market.
The f is that?
We will continue to track the United States and Canada's bond market and what that actually does to fixed mortgage rates on this channel. Click like and subscribe if you want to get those updates, but for now, let's get into this data. Onto the data. First up, the benchmark price. The benchmark price, if you remember, that's the price of a home that represents the most popular set of features. The benchmark price fell for the first time in Toronto since December. The benchmark in April was sitting at $1,128,000, and that dropped down to $1,117,400 in May. So the benchmark price is down about $11,000 since last month, but down about $50,000 since this point in time last year.
It's nothing. What are you going to do with that?
Regardless, unlike the benchmark price, the average price was up in May, though marginally. The average price in April was $1,156,000, and that jumped about $9,000 to $1,165,700. So the average price up about $9,000 from last month, but down about $30,000 since this point in time last year. And the median price rose as well, though, again, not by very much. The median price, if you'll remember, that's where half as many homes sell over that price and half as many sell under that price. The median price in April was $981,500, and that jumped about $9,000 to $992,000. So the median price is up about $9,000 from last month, but again, down about $40,000 from this point in time last year. And the lack of price increases makes sense when we look at the months of inventory measurement, the MOI, which measures if no more homes came to market, how long would it take for Toronto to completely run out of homes for sale. The MOI in April was 2.6, and that jumped up to 2.8 in May. So, in relative terms, Toronto has a lot more inventory sitting on the market. And finally, the sales to list price ratio, which measures how much over or under asking a home sells. So if a home is listed for $100,000 and sells for $102,000, the SLPR would be 102. The SLPR in April was sitting at 102, and the SLPR in May was also sitting at 102. With that said, as we talked about before on this channel, the village idiot can underprice a home in sight of bidding war, and then when we look at the data, it'll look like that home went well over asking price. No offense to the village idiot.
You've apologised.
So we have the benchmark price down about $11,000 since May. The average and the median price are both up about $9,000. We have relative more inventory on the market, and homes are still selling minorly over asking price. But the real story in Toronto in May is the massive amount of inventory sitting on the market, with Toronto seeing the largest amount of active listings that it's seen in May for the past 10 years.
Always be closing.
Given that we've been told over and over and over again that a lack of supply will perpetually drive prices up, and now we have a lot of supply with very few sales, then the only part left of the equation perpetuated by the usual suspects would be the salespeople.
I really need your help.
In case you haven't seen it, that movie was Goodfellas, where a junkie, after unearned hubris, realizes that he had no place in the world without the support of his boss, and has to go running to his boss for a bailout, demonstrating that he was never really anything without the boss's support. So, And as mentioned earlier, the abundance of inventory sitting on the Toronto market comes amid a dearth of sales, as sales were at their lowest point for the month of May that Toronto has seen, except 2020, for the past 10 years. And with 10-year low sales numbers and new listings coming in right about where they should be, right around the 10-year average of 18,612, that brings Toronto's sales to new listing ratio down to 41.6%. The lowest SNLR that Toronto has seen for May, again, for the past 10 years. Meaning, buyers had the most leverage, the most power, that they've had in the May market in Toronto for the past 10 years. Meaning, finance conditions, house inspections, protect your financial interest, all of that good stuff.
He was so awful.
So, yeah, we are seeing a spring slowdown in Toronto's real estate market. We saw the first price drop that we've seen since December. We have very, very few sales to speak of, and a large number of listings just sitting on the market. But fear not, Mr. Phil, we're going back to pandemic pricing in 2024 sober. The man with the crystal ball himself says that the recent rate drop from the Bank of Canada will provide a material lift to home sales. In a text message sent to the Globe and Mail, Phil Soper said that the small cut will provide a material shift in sales and accelerated home price appreciation. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about Canadian media, the guy that tells young people to take a look at variable rates mid-2021, the guy who tells everyone we're going back to pandemic pricing in December of 2023, sends the Globe and Mail a text, and we're off to the presses.
The man is pure genius.
Though, to be fair, given that Soper may in fact still be using a flip phone, that text could have taken quite a bit of effort. That article predicting flat price growth was from July of 2023, back when the benchmark price was $50,000 higher than it is right now. I should do a video on what someone's finances would look like if they followed Soper's advice all the way from 2020 to the current day.
Mortgage bill. Ooh, second notice.
Regardless though, as we've all probably seen on social media, this is not just Phil Soper predicting that this one rate cut is going to send prices upward. The Toronto Star was able to find a realtor, difficult though that may have been, willing to say that that rate cut will get first-time homebuyers off the sidelines, noting that there's now a sense out there that, okay, it's over. That article was published less than 12 hours after the Bank of Canada's announcement. How does the realtor know what the sentiment is 12 hours later? With that said, the realtor does have a point, first time for everything, in that if we do see a mass return to the real estate market, it's going to be based off psychology, not off the economic fundamentals, as, despite what we're seeing in the media, the fundamentals did not really change. For example, RBC's variable rate is now sitting at 6.64 and its fixed is sitting at 5.14. In March, RBC was offering a variable of 6.59 and a fixed rate hold of 5.14. The fixed rate remained relatively unchanged, and that's because, as we've talked about so many times before on this channel, the Bank of Canada does not control fixed rates. The Bank of Canada only controls variable rates, and variable rates are still well over 100 basis points higher than that of fixed. Ergo, any drop coming from the Bank of Canada is not going to improve fixed rates directly.
Oh yeah, that's a real good legal.
Given what we've seen out of the media over the past 2 days, my guess is we're going to have to repeat this a lot.
A lot.
So, if the economic fundamentals aren't there to support a move into the market, then if we are going to see that move, it's going to be psychologically driven. And, as we've discussed before, market psychology is incredibly difficult to predict. With that said, the market psychology could in fact go that route. We could in fact see buyers move back into the market very quickly. But, as we discussed earlier, they're going back to a market that has nearly twice as much inventory as it had last year. Meaning, with that much inventory sitting on the market, we shouldn't expect to see any immediate major upsurge in prices. Meaning, buyers, which aren't as dumb as the real estate industry hopes, might just wait this out to see which way the wind blows, before, yet again, trusting the junkie. With that said, we will continue to track what happens in Toronto's real estate market on this channel. Click like and subscribe if you want to get those updates, but for now, thanks so much for watching.